Hello and welcome to Planet Hope, the programme dedicated to the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. This week we're focusing on environment and diversity and the production of palm oil. Used in everyday products from biscuits to cosmetics, in recent years the industry has exploded. Now manufacturers, desperate to keep up with demand, have their sights set on thousands of hectares of undeveloped land in Africa. In Cameroon, production has increased by 26% in the last year, and the government plans to double output by 2020. But with thousands of hectares of land earmarked for such projects, local villagers are concerned their very existence will be under threat. This report by Sarah Sacco and Jean-Marie Lemaire.
On Cameroonian roads, the journey always holds a few surprises. Slowly but surely, Christopher, an environmental activist, makes his way onto land earmarked for development in a controversial palm oil plantation deal.
This part of the concession, which is called the Toko area, in the Mundemba area, is supposed to be about 30,000 hectares that SG SOG is expecting. So this area is supposed to be free for the natives to hunt, to farm, and carry out any activities.
Christopher's heading out to one of the nurseries owned by US firm Heracles Farms. He wants to ask about the project's progress, but doesn't make it very far before running into trouble.
Be calm. Come on, brutes. Come down.
It's not brute.
The workers seem determined to stop Christopher from getting in.
So what do you have here now?
You don't have the right to get into a nursery.
Okay, good. Are you workers here or you are gangsters?
We are workers.
I see you coming out with clubs. Are you going to club us?
Nobody
So
should
is this
them.
how...
Please don't answer them.
Is this how polite you are? Is this a territory in the Republic of Cameroon, or this is an independent territory in the Republic of Cameroon, or this belongs to the Republic of Cameroon?
Want to videotape.
No, I want to
It's
get
one
it
more
your way.
showdown on a
You guys
long
all
list
need
of
to
those
see
sparked
this
by the
school.
nursery. Christopher eventually has to turn back. The tropical rainforest here makes this part of Cameroon a biodiversity hotspot. The climate is also perfect for growing oil palms. The two conditions have proved to be a recipe for trouble. Palm oil is the world's cheapest edible oil, and as global demand skyrockets, so do the crop's potential profits. Large corporations have turned towards Africa in the hope of expanding production. The promise of foreign investment's a tempting one, and in 2009, Cameroon granted over 70,000 hectares of land here in the southwest to Heracles Farm subsidiary SG SOG. The companies insisted that the development of a plantation and refinery would have only a positive impact on the local ecosystem and population. Though many communities here aren't so sure, SG SOG's arguments have found some support.
They told me that they are going to bring a lot of development in this village, mostly water, electricity, a school, in fact, roads and many other things that they are going to bring here in this village. If we leave the forest, what is the forest going to do for us?
However, many who'd be affected by the project fear for their land and their livelihoods.
I'm afraid that they would cut all trees down, and my farm will be there. They will be inside the company. After I must have suffered for the farm for more than 30 years, then if they destroy it, where will I live with my children? So I don't want the company completely. I don't want it. And so many people don't want the company.
Nasako is one of the project's fiercest opponents. He's openly at war with its supporters and fears that allowing a foreign firm to monopolise the forest will come at a high price. His positions earned him some enemies.
Who stop you? You fly camera for me. You can't ever slap me. Come on, I won't come for you. I've seen this. I've seen a flight.
I am warning him not to walk in my village, never to walk in my village. And presently, no matter whatever thing you people will do, I'm the chief of this village.
It is always like this. That is the confrontation which we face daily to protect rainforests.
His journey takes him to Mangwe 2, one of the 30 villages within the government's concession of land to the American company. SG SOG officially claims that around 14,000 people live on the site. NGOs estimate the number to be double that. Nasiko's here to get locals up to speed on their rights, but fears that the project will go ahead whether people here like it or not.
I'm very sure that they will take all their land, because if somebody has produced a map, which is called a map of their concession, and has applied to the head of state to get the land lease, and your village is inside, your farmland is inside, your drinking water is inside, I don't see how it's coming to give you something. It means they want to dictate to you how many meter is going to live for you and how where he wants you to be when they grant him the distance. So it's a big problem. The process is wrong. It's the approach that we are attacking. I've never come to, you have heard, have they come to negotiate? No! No! So, no.
Heracles Farms claims to have the full backing of indigenous communities. It says it won't be displacing locals and that it will be supporting the local economy by providing jobs and infrastructure. But finding out more about the impact of their project isn't easy. Our request for an interview with someone from the company is refused. It's not just locals who are criticising Heracles Farms' plans. Another of its nurseries can be found near the town of Unguti. Frederick, from international NGO Greenpeace, is here to meet with John, a farmer. He's checking on how the controversial development is going.
You see the red mark over there? They made it, not the villagers.
People from the company?
Yes, SG SOC.
And they put that line across the forest?
Yes, down to there, over there.
So all that over there, they're planting oil palms?
Yes, even though behind that there are more fields.
But those are the villagers' fields. They verbally promised all the farmers they'd leave them a zone of 3 kilometres near the villages. But here, the mark we see on this tree is proof they're already not respecting this limit, because we're at much less than 3 kilometres here. There are still farmers behind that will be eradicated by the future plantation. Already, the company's not respecting its commitments. It's also not bound by a written contract. We're demanding the project be stopped. We want the current deal cancelled. In general, projects concerning large palm oil concessions in Cameroon should be suspended. That should be the case until there are laws that make sure that industrial plantation projects that threaten the forest and local people, like this one, don't head for the country in the future.
There's no doubt that the country's agricultural sector has a lot of room for modernisation and growth. Smallholders using traditional techniques work about 3/4 of Cameroon's farmland, and the government's keen to boost domestic production. Currently, palm oil yields are low. Official figures show that in 2010, just 230,000 tonnes were produced. An extra 50,000 tonnes had to be imported to meet demand. The government's hoping to double production by 2020, and industrial development in the sector is key to plans for economic growth and the reduction of poverty. But by rolling out the red carpet for Heracles Farms, critics of the deal say the government's actually allowing the company to trample over Cameroon's best interests.
There are many problems with this contract. First, it was intended to be confidential, and it's purely by chance that we were able to see it. Then, it is extremely long. It's a 99-year contract. That's about 3 generations for the residents in the area, while the company will only have to pay a few tens of millions of CFA francs to the state to rent the land. Ultimately, the contract will not benefit the country in any way.
As with Heracles Farms, our requests for an interview with Cameroonian authorities were all declined. Conservationists are also warning that granting foreign companies land for industrial palm oil production threatens some of Africa's most ecologically diverse areas. It's a delicate balance of interests.
The site itself is just between the Rumpy Hill Sanctuary and the Korup National Park. So we can't just do it anywhere. We must avoid destroying these valuable forests that have to be conserved. Palm oil has proven itself on other continents, in Southeast Asia, for example. Leaving aside the fact that it has led to the significant loss of tropical forests, it has allowed for the development of whole regions and for lifting millions of people out of poverty.
The Korup National Park's rich and ancient forests are teeming with life and are home to several species of endangered animals and rare plants. Despite Heracles' assurances that it will create a buffer zone around the sanctuary, there are fears that plantation development will disrupt key wildlife routes.
And then when the animal is passing to eat the bait, then you just...
If SG comes, they'll cut all the trees and they'll cut the canopy where animals used to live naturally. So most of the animals will fall back into the coral park, and so poachers will be forced to get into the coral park. So the pressure of hunting and poaching in the coral park will increase with the coming of SG to the Mundemba area.
In September, Heracles resigned from the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil. Its members uphold strict sustainability guidelines. SG Sock's one of at least 6 foreign companies eyeing over 1 million hectares of forest here. With so much in the balance, it won't be easy for conservationists and industrialists to find common ground.
Well, that's it for this edition of Planet Hope. Thanks for watching. You can watch all our other programmes by logging onto our website, france24.com. That's france24.com. Bye-bye.